Are you ready?
Take Three Wrestling's live. I thought I'd go for a new intro with the 8-bit jingle.
I like that.
It worked. We're live, baby. It is Wednesday night, August the 13th, 2025, a special Wednesday night episode because I have a thing called work tomorrow.
You got to do what you got to do. Those gimmicks, they keep sending those gimmicks they call bills. So
yeah, fucking stupid ass gimmicks. Now that Joe is here, I will also give you all the formal reminder that next week, probably not a live show. Jim is out of town. I will probably hop on and do a full-fledged preview of Forbidden Door 3 Backdoor Dangerous from London. It'll probably just be a quick 15-minute show where I just go over the matches and give you a formal prediction on who I think will walk away victorious in those. If Joe's around, maybe I can get him to hop in during the day before he goes to work, seeing how I have off on Thursday. So maybe we can do something there. Other programming note, the following week, unless Jim and Joe decide to do a live show, probably not going to be available. I took Sunday off, the 24th, for my fantasy football draft, so I worked the rest of the week. So barring something crazy there, don't know we're getting a show up that day. So just keep an eye out on the social medias for all of the information on that. We have any other programming notes?
not that I can think of.
All right. Chock full show. We got a fun one. We have some talks about the rumor floating around about what could be the injury to Naomi and what could be of the women's world title. We have a John Cena based topic on his grading his heel turn, and then, or his heel run, not his heel turn. We talked about his heel turn at nauseum on this show. And then we have, I don't remember what the third topic is because I don't have the text message open.
That's it's the kind of, because there's rumors again floating about both September and December being potential months that WWE may be planning some events on the same day as AEW.
Yes.
Is this friendly competition or is this bad form? We'll tap into that a little bit.
We'll talk about that probably at nauseum.
Yeah, that one we could probably go a little bit on. We can start with the Naomi stuff.
I think that's the biggest news story so far of the week. I think if we don't start on it, I think we're
and there's honestly not a whole lot to talk about. Because what we know for sure is she was supposed to defend the women's world title against Io Sky on Monday Night Raw. That match got pulled. They were in Canada. There was reports that did it get pulled because there was travel issues. But then there was reports she was at the arena, so she was there. It wasn't a travel issue situation. So then there's kind of buzz about, what did she get hurt? Yeah, how long she got to be out? This and that. Yesterday evening, there started to be some buzz around the wrestling journalism world, and that's journalism with a Z because nothing's actual real news in the world of professional wrestling. That Naomi may be out for a long-term period, and that was really kind of the only speculation. I think the reports came from both PW Insider and Wrestling Observer first. And again, that's all we've really heard. And then it was announced by, I think, the WWE, or by some news sources that Naomi and old Big Jim, not me, the Uso Big Jim, are going to be guests, special guests on a special edition of the Stephanie McMahon podcast this week. So we don't have that yet. So that is certainly gets the rumor mill in the mind of buzzing about what exactly is going on with Naomi. And I think probably the prevailing thought, and we'll put it at that, because we certainly don't want to put things into reality of a sensitive nature. But when you start to piece some of the pieces together, I think that the kind of prevailing rumor, feeling, gut feeling, brain thought is that the Naomi may be pregnant. Regardless if it's like a pregnancy, if it's injury, she is out long term. Kind of the thought here is, first off, congratulations to her and Big Jim. If that is the case, we'll find out officially, possibly sometime later this week. But let's, hypothetically speaking, because that's all we're kind of operating on at this point is hypotheticals, and the mind's going to go where the mind's going to go. If Naomi has to forfeit the women's world title, there's certainly been talks about, what happens. We have Clash in Paris coming up. We have a potential pay-per-view coming up in September. We'll talk about that in a little bit. What exactly happens here with the women's world title? Some people thought, well, let's just put Io and Rhea in a match and winner gets the belt. Some people have thought tournament. Some people have thought fatal 4-way. But if this is the world we're living in, and I'll let you guys decide amongst yourselves who wants to talk first. What do you guys do with the women's world title? Because it's really been on kind of a hot summer here, and you want to make sure you can still capitalize on that even in the potential forfeiture here.
I'll give Joe the floor since he hasn't said much to start the show.
Yay, I'll take the floor. Oh my God, it's lava! It's lava! You didn't warn me. Okay, anyway,
I didn't.
Do you guys see my name?
The Arachnophobian Dream.
You want to hear an impression?
Just get it ready.
Sure. Yeah, I got it ready. I'm good.
No, it's not gonna be anything controversial. It's my Dusty Rhodes, but it's my Dusty Rhodes Arachnophobian Dream. All right. Well, let me tell you something, baby. There's a spider. All right, that's it. That was the impression.
There we go. Okay, we're good.
See, I told you.
That might be my favorite thing you've done in all the time we've known.
So, all right. First of all, I guess Big Jim wasn't, not this Big Jim, the Uso-fied Big Jim. I guess he wasn't using caution. But ching.
He was just trying to extend the family tree.
You know what? Yeah, that is in 20 years a future world champion. We don't know if it's male world champion or female world champion. It might not know until at least 16 years from now. But it's going to be a world champion in some class.
I won't name any friends of mine that are on 3CT, but Ryan said last night that it wouldn't be the first time Jimmy plowed into something.
Oh my God. Can we honestly, can we get some t-shirts? Like, how Jay has Yeet? Can we get some Skeet t-shirts for Jimmy?
5 letters. One word.
5 letters.
Skeet.
It's exactly what it sounds like right before. Yep.
Oh my God. That's fantastic. That's actually a great idea.
So if it is that, and by tomorrow the whole world might know, Mazel Tov, that's amazing.
Yeah.
If it's something dark, like they're going to go on, and it turns out Naomi showed up to Raw drunk, and now she's going into rehab, and this is that kind of interview, that'd be really sad. So I hope that's not what happens.
Certainly.
But
I don't think
either way,
play. I think Jay would be the one going into rehab.
Maybe she had enough.
Maybe. Never
Things happen.
The horse there, but
anyway,
now that you put that
going to the title scene. So I know that it feels like too obvious to say Io or Rhea, putting the title on one of them, having a match between them. Maybe not a triple threat with them, because I feel like we've gone to that well one too many times this year. But, doing a singles match with them, putting the title on whoever wins that's fine. The thing with it is, I know like I said, it feels safe, and it is safe. But it's kind of like having two talents. The reason why it's safe is because you know that they can, number one, put bangers on against each other, and number two, kind of carry the division if they really needed to. They don't need to. The Raw Women's division is stacked right now. So you don't need someone that's going to like carry it. But obviously you do want someone anchoring it. And to me, it feels like, okay, let's go back to the year like 1999, 2000, 2001. You'd put the world title sometimes on Kurt Angle, but push came to shove and you needed to break the glass for emergency. You could put the title over on Austin, or you could put the title over on Rock, and nobody would be upset about it. It felt like the safe thing to do. You're not giving somebody new a shot, but you had those people and they were the stars that they were for a reason. So it was okay if you made that choice. That's kind of what it feels like with Rhea and Io to me right now in this scene. They're like the Rock and Austin of this women's division, where like at any given time you could put the title on them and you know that everything's going to be hunky-dory for the division. There's going to be great matches for the title. Everything's going to be good. So I'm not against that. Personally, though, I do think it'd be kind of exciting to see somebody new with the belt. I think you have a chance, like I said, I think it's a very stacked women's division, and you have a chance to put the belt on somebody who is unexpected but can go out there, be the anchor, have great matches with Rhea, have great matches with Io, have great matches with Asuka, with everybody right now. And that's Stephanie Vaquer, I know she's already got the title shot coming up in Paris. I think you could slot somebody in there. Like I said, Io's the former champion. I think you could slot her in there and just make it for the vacant title because, hey, it's former champion versus number one contender. Makes sense. It's easy peasy. You get a title changing hands at a default, but you get a title changing hands on the PLE in Paris. And if you put the belt on Steph at that point, like I said, I think she's someone who can be an anchor for the division in the same way that Rhea and Io are. So building one more of that kind of person just isn't a bad idea right now.
Yeah, no, I think that sounds great. Mike?
Here's my genuine issue when it comes to the that is Io Sky, Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley, since March of this year, has wrestled 19 matches, including house shows. 5 of them have been for the women's world title in matches that involve Io Sky.
That's a Hulk Hogan run, baby.
That doesn't include the 2 house shows where they're the 3 house shows where they're tag partners, and the match on Monday Night Raw where they were tag partners, as well as Nikki Bella and Stephanie Vaquer against the Green Regime and Naomi. So these 2 have now been everything reloaded.
Are we here? We're here. We're good.
All right, I'm good.
Okay.
All right, it's just all reloaded. I got really
I didn't know if that was on me. I didn't know if that was a me.
You were gone for a minute while I was listening to and watching Mike talk.
Okay.
So I don't know what was going on, but I think it might have been a Big Jim thing.
All right. So my genuine issue is these 2 have been linked together what I feel like is for too long. We've already done the long storyline with Rhea Ripley. It was Liv Morgan before the injury. I think Rhea needs to go do some other stuff. And you know what would be perfect for Rhea Ripley to go get involved in? The Intercontinental title feud.
Oh, okay.
Let her go put some prestige on that belt with Becky Lynch. Go have good matches there. If Io wants to stay in the title picture for the next little bit, I'm okay with it. Because here's the thing. We are going to do Clash in Paris, or excuse me, not Clash. We're doing Clash in Paris, but then we have the show in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
We bring in Rhea in as a champion. Is she winning the title in Paris to walk into Australia as the champion? Because if your answer to that is no, then whoever wins the title is going to have a month-and-a-half title run and then drop it to her in Australia.
Yeah.
That kind of feels crud. But you have someone who's had the Intercontinental title since WrestleMania, who has finally finished her feud with the Bird Lady.
Caw-caw.
So maybe it makes sense to put somebody like that in a title feud going into that show in Australia. And maybe you get a Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch main event in Australia. Could be a fine enough match to take place in that regard. Both women can work their butts off. You know, if we are going under the impersonation that Naomi will be vacating the title within the next 72-ish hours.
Right.
Stephanie Vacour does make a lot of sense. She already has the title match. But I don't know that they're ready to pull the trigger on her yet because there's a major disconnect that is similar to the same disconnect that Io Sky has had for an extended period of time. The inability to cut promos in English. The same reason why Giulia now has Kiana James as her, quote, agent/lawyer, aka mouthpiece.
Right.
So my concern is that they're going to look at it and go, well, this don't work. She's going to have a great match. She's going to be great in the match, etc. But maybe we don't pull the trigger on her just yet. Maybe we wait. You know,
Right.
That's why I said, okay, if I have the pen for Clash in Paris, I would do a multi-woman match. I would do qualifying matches on Monday Night Raw. I would do a fatal 4-way or a fatal 5-way. Steph is the only one guaranteed to be in the match because she did have the match for Clash in Paris.
Okay.
So she gets the auto berth. Congratulations for winning the Battle Royal at Evolution. Here's your reward. I would then have qualifying matches, and the 4 people that I would take from the qualifying matches to make a fatal 5-way at Clash of Paris, because that's a fun little match that they could have with the 5. First up, let's go retro. Let me get Natty.
Okay.
You get Natty a win over somebody like Asuka, Raquel Rodriguez, somebody along those lines. You get a win. Cool. You get Natty. So then you go, okay, well, who's the next one that makes sense? Well, you have Natty's tag partner, Maxine Dupree. You have her lose to like Roxanne Perez.
Okay.
So you get one member of the Judgment Day in, you get Natty in there, you got Stephanie Vacour. I would put Lyra Valkyria in there so you can show to the world that you're not just done with Lyra.
Okay.
Have her win a match against, per se, Ivy Nile or maybe it's Bailey. Maybe you have you keep turning this darker side of Bailey, and maybe Bailey gets herself disqualified, and that keeps this promo thing that Bailey's been doing going to the next step. So I got the 4 of them in there right now, and then you're thinking to yourself, who could number 5 be? And there's a couple of different options here. I haven't mentioned Io Sky. I haven't mentioned Asuka. I haven't mentioned anybody on the SmackDown roster, et cetera, et cetera. It's probably Io.
Okay.
But I would go for more the pop. And I wouldn't put Io in it. I would tell Io that she gets the first match against whoever the champion is on an episode of Raw.
Okay.
I would go Nikki Bella. Nikki Bella, Roxanne Perez, Natalya, Stephanie Vacour, and who's the 5th that I said? I don't even fucking remember anymore.
Oh, you said a lot of names.
I did.
You did.
Oh, Lyra. Bird Lady.
Lyra. Yeah, Bird Lady.
Because here's my thought process. If you're going to then put the world title on Rhea Ripley in her home country, who is someone that isn't going to be harmed by a short title run? Nikki Bella, Roxanne Perez, because you could go back to the whole Judgment Day thing again, because eventually Liv Morgan's going to come back, and that could be a nice little caveat to having that feud.
Mm-hmm.
Lyra Valkyria wouldn't, be the worst thought process if she beats a dark and twisted Bailey by disqualification and steals it, because then you could have Bailey and Lyra fight for the world title for over a feud, and then Becky could lose the Intercontinental title and then try to swoop back in to go after Lyra again, and Lyra could finally get the win back against Becky and keep her away from the women's title.
Sure.
Sometime down the road, not in the next 3 months. Please, God, don't let us do that again. So, I think for myself, because I don't know how far away Liv Morgan is from coming back.
That's what I was just looking up. The report when she had the injury was around 3 months.
So if we're
It was
saying
in like mid-July.
on the bad side, 6 months, you're looking Rumble.
Sure.
Okay. Or you could do the fun thing here and have Roxanne win the title at Clash. Everybody in the Judgment Day is fine. And Monday night, Liv Morgan's music hits and Liv comes back. Whether she comes back healthy or not yet, she could be the manager. She could be the face, whatever, until she gets healthy.
Right.
Inevitably sets up a Roxanne Perez, Rhea Ripley title match in Australia. Liv either turns on Roxanne and leaves the Judgment Day, maybe goes face and realigns with former tag partner Rhea Ripley.
Yeah.
Or she stays heel, helps Roxanne win, and then you have the long term of, but you have my title.
Sure.
I think Roxanne Perez makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I don't hate Io getting in the match. I don't hate the Stephanie Vacour probably potentially winning it. I'm more worried that Triple H and management, Stephanie, you've won the title, and she cuts a C+ at best promo, and then they look up and they go, yeah, this don't work. And then scrap the title run, put it back on someone in the most weird way possible, and then we get the same 3 people feuding for the title again for the next 6 months.
Right. But yeah, so my first thought, and again, I think both of you have really good ideas. And my first thought on this was a couple of names, and there's a couple of names that you have mentioned, one being Natty. And if you go Natty, I go with the Bloodsport version.
Yes.
That's been making a whole ton of noise this summer. Don't bring out Queen of Hearts,
No.
Pink and Black, Queen Natty, all of this. Bring out this fucking onesie, mouthpiece, badass bitch that's been punching people in the mouth and flipping middle fingers all over Josh Barnett's Bloodsport this summer. That's the Natty that I want as a world champion.
You want Natty Neidhart, not Natalya.
Correct. I thought Bayley, especially with whatever this heel turn is. Sign me up for that. But then I think back to the promo right before the Liv Morgan injury, which I did look, was actually, the injury was in June, surgery was in early July. It says around 3 months. So we're approaching, potential comeback time. And again, it could be anywhere between 2 and 6 because kayfabe. But the last time we heard Liv Morgan on a microphone, she was verbally undressing Nikki Bella.
Mm-hmm.
And Nikki Bella getting a surprise world title win in 2025.
Not on my bingo card.
Not on anybody's bingo card. But it is a fun little PR move by the WWE. And it all of a sudden puts Liv Morgan in a potential driver's seat for a world title shot when she returns. And then, and because then you're going to be in this tricky spot because Liv's going to be a face when she returns. Let's be fair. Let's be a 1,000 on that. Because she's already got like the Liv Dom people are on her side. Everybody feels good about her return. She's going to be confronting the Judgment Day, who stole her titles, and Roxanne tried to steal her man, and this and that. Flip the switch on the Dom face turn. And then all of a sudden, Rhea's the bad guy, right? Like Liv wins the title, like from Nikki Bella. Rhea's the bad guy. That's a whole world of fun that we haven't explored in a little while.
Or do we just separate them?
Or you could just separate.
Put Rhea on SmackDown for 6 months in the fucking draft, and then
Sure.
bring over Bianca Belair / Jade Cargill.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest. I don't think they could turn Rhea Ripley heel right now.
Well, I'm not necessarily saying turn her heel,
Okay.
but it like there's going to be an interesting dynamic in the Liv Morgan Rhea Ripley saga. If Liv comes back and wins the title and is the title that Rhea wants, Rhea could just kind of look like the asshole, still be the same Rhea Ripley, kind of present, because there's like buzz with wrestling reporters this week that Triple H views Rhea as like his Stone Cold in essence. And
We
you
live in a
present Rhea as you're going to present her and let the world decide.
We live in a world where for 10 plus years we said John Cena couldn't turn heel.
Right.
Anybody can turn heel as long as the machine gets behind it.
Right.
The fact of the matter is does that mean she's going to get booed? No, probably not. But that doesn't mean that she's playing a good guy.
Right.
How much did Liv Morgan really get booed when she was coming out there in booty shorts and doing slow turns and kissing Dominic Mysterio? It was the 17 females that were covering their boyfriend's eyes saying, honey, don't look at that ass.
Don't look.
Let's be very transparent. They weren't getting a lot of boos. Now, when she got on the microphone and started talking smack about people that people liked and downgrading the cities that they were in and stuff like that, then she'd get the cheap boos, which is what heels are supposed to do. So if Rhea Ripley goes out there and they're in Phoenix, Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona, the home of Nikki and Brie Bella, a.k.a. Dumpster 1 and Dumpster 2, she's not going to get booed. They'll boo because they're sitting there talking shit about the city that they're in.
I don't know. I've met some of the wrestling fans. I think they might be like, "Yeah, Rhea, tell me I suck."
I mean,
that's a whole nother can of worms, sir.
New king unlocked.
Yeah, but we also, like I said, we also lived in a world where we were told for years that John Cena would never turn heel.
Right.
I will say, without spoiling my own topic coming up, part of the reason why I don't think they would turn Rhea is because of the way the John Cena heel run just went. All I'll say.
They could be a little gun shy, but yeah. And here's the thing, and maybe right now, just because of the Rhea dynamic, we'll get there, Mike. Because of the Rhea dynamic, that if Liv gets the title, maybe they do keep them separate, so that you don't have to create that. Because, heel versus heel doesn't always work, because then you got to cheer for somebody. Face versus face doesn't always work, because you're going to have to boo somebody. You're going to have to be against somebody.
But I think you were hitting the nail on the head. Triple H looks as Rhea as his Austin. Sometimes Austin was a face. Sometimes Austin was a heel. Sometimes Austin was a tweener. Guess what? He got cheered every step of the way. Just because you're getting cheered doesn't mean that you're not a heel.
Right. You can do bad things if people root for it.
Correct. I mean, if you're telling me Liv's the face, Rhea's the tweener, Roxanne and Raquel are the heels, you got a fun four in that title picture for the next 4 or 5 months. Then whoever wins the Royal Rumble is the one who's fighting for that title at WrestleMania, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I think the way that I look at it now is heel, face, tweener, whatever it is. I think if you're living in a world where you're telling me that Rhea Ripley is going to keep fighting for this title, it's inevitably going to get to a point where you're like, cool, we've seen this now for the 77th time.
Right.
Just like we've seen Cody Rhodes come out for the 77th time and hand his weight belt to a kid and whoa and all of that. It's why that there were people that were like, oh, Cody's definitely going to turn. Cody's turning at SummerSlam. He can't be a face anymore. He just can't.
Bet.
Yeah, wrong, sir. So when I look at it, if and back to the Naomi part of this, if Naomi is
wrong,
if Naomi is pregnant, congratulations to the two of them. If it is something else that is a serious and or underlying problem that needs to go get fixed, obviously we hope that that goes smoothly and is successful and she's back as soon as she can, because it's unfortunate in the regards of the professional wrestling aspect of this, because this is the best that Naomi has been probably ever. And to see it get cut short, potentially, again, all rumor and innuendo, don't want to put anything out in the universe.
Right.
To see it potentially get cut short before they could have the payoff to arguably one of the best women's storylines not involving a title for quite some time, the Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, Naomi, you were my friend, but now you're her friend, but now I don't want to be friends with her no more, jumper in the parking lot thing. Like, to not get a payoff match from the three of them together.
Right.
And I'm not saying that it'll never happen, but let's say she is pregnant. It's 9 months. And just based off of other females who have gotten pregnant that have had to leave, it took Alexa Bliss 2+ years to come back.
Mm-hmm.
It's taken other women, Becky Lynch, 1.5 years.
Right, because here's the thing. I mean, 9 months plus recovery time, plus just wanting to be at home with your family. Like,
correct.
Taking none of the physical stuff aside, because then there is a getting back into ring shape and just like getting your body back to a position where you're going to wrestle. Like, wrestling is hard physically, and obviously none of the three of us here are anything close to experts on what a female's body would feel like after having a baby. Like, I'm not certainly not speaking on a
three-time father. I haven't gone through the physical body part of it, but my wife, with my other two, suffered from postpartum depression, suffered from not being able to have the stitches because she got a C-section. The stitches took extra long to heal, stuff in her organs because, you have to move stuff to get the baby out, XYZ. Like, there are things, there are setbacks, there are things that can go 100% fine in that room, and then something can click and something inside of you doesn't work, or you go through that postpartum depression where you've been growing this thing inside of you for the last 9 months, and now your body is set in a whole different state of shock. There's a mental game that you have to play in that regard. There are things that none of us can tell you will be right, wrong, and or indifferent. I can tell you the experiences that I've had, but my experiences will be different than anybody else's in the world.
Right.
So that's then you have, like you said, it's I want to be around Jim, and I want to be around the baby, and I want to be around his kids, and I want to be around Jay and his family, and I want Roman to come see the baby. And, I'm not traveling with the baby. Hell, Cody Rhodes got a tour bus put in his contract so we could travel with his family.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So these are all things that if that is the what this is, it's unfortunate that the payoff to that storyline will either be rushed in some way, shape, or form, not including Naomi, or will be put on the back burner for an extended period of time to where the other two females may be in different points of their career, inevitably, when she comes back.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. So yeah, we'll obviously kind of stay on top of whatever the actual news is with the Naomi situation, and certainly I won't be around to talk about it next week, but we'll certainly keep on top of it moving forward here.
When is Clash in France?
Not next weekend, but the following, I believe.
So it's the same weekend as.
Yeah, I think it's on the 31st.
31st. Yeah.
So when is Forbidden? Oh, so Forbidden Doors the 20th.
Indoors next weekend.
Okay.
Yeah. That's not the pay-per-view WWE is going to counter program.
No. All right, cool. Because I was just like, if it's the same weekend, like we're
Yeah, since we were kind of like flirting on the topic, Joe, do we want to do your topic now?
Sure.
Okay.
My topic is, I feel like, not an easy one, but so now that the John Cena heel run is done, and it clearly is done,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's fair that we can look back on the whole thing and kind of give it a letter grade. And obvious letter grade, A being the best, A plus, F being the worst. But I feel like we can kind of grade it on what we think about it. Because the truth is, as we said, for the longest time, we never thought we'd see that happen. And I think if Vince McMahon was still in charge of the company, we never would have seen that happen. And Triple H came out here and said, you know what? Let's give it a shot. It's the last year this guy's around. It's our last chance. We either do it now or it's never going to happen. They gave it an opportunity. They certainly tried some things with it. Whether or not it was actually a success, I think is arguable. I think I could see some people saying yes, some people saying no. So I figured we'd start with us and see what you guys say. Up to you guys who starts.
Mike, you want to?
Oh, I can. That's fine.
Yeah, go for it.
I will give this a resounding A. I will give the heel run itself an A because here's the deal. It was what it needed to be for us to fondly remember the last 5 months of John Cena in a WWE ring. Because he could have came out like he did the night that he announced that the John Cena retirement tour would start. And, come out, run to the ring, throw my hat, throw my towel, everybody kumbaya. And he did it at the Royal Rumble. And then we got the maybe I'm just not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm just not good enough to be here for the next calendar year.
Right.
But I'm going to put myself in the elimination chamber because I deserve that.
Right. Like my career has earned that.
It's not really a face thing to do, John. It's really not. But then you win the title. I'm sorry. Then you kick Cody Rhodes in the dick after winning the elimination.
Right, because like a face would have been like, "Hey, let me wrestle on Monday Night Raw."
Correct.
So
let me go beat Jey Uso.
Yeah, so I can earn my way in, not just I talked to the bosses. I'm going to be in there.
And then you start thinking about what happened the night he turned. The turn itself, fantastic. The post show where he walks in, all he does is pick the microphone up, drops it, and walks out. Winning the match at WrestleMania. Sure, not a lot of people like the match because Travis Scott was involved and it was slow and it was methodical and it wasn't 5 moves of doom John Cena. It's not supposed to be. He was supposed to be a heel. He was supposed to work a slower, more methodical style. You want to know why? Because he's in his 40s. He's not this young fucking stallion anymore. He's supposed to go out there and grind out matches and try to find a way to sneak out victories. But then he gets the title, and that's when people are like, okay, well, now what? Well, let's see what happened. R-Truth gets released. He brings R-Truth back and has had a lot of fun with R-Truth, from the matches to R-Truth now being his friend again and living in a time warp where John Cena tried to say that it was R-Truth that was the heel John Cena. To arguably one of the best matches of the John Cena run, the title match at SummerSlam against Cody Rhodes, a match that was in all honesty was a great match. And it didn't need the shit involved. It didn't need The Rock. It didn't need Travis Scott. It didn't need anything else. It was two guys who were willing to share the ring to go to war.
Right.
And as much as you say, oh, he was a face for that match, he turned face 2 nights before. I will credit that as part of the heel run. He turned face because it's hard to turn face after losing the title when Brock Lesnar is showing up 2 days later.
Right.
Sorry, not sorry. So, what bad came out of the John Cena heel run? The fact that we had to listen to Travis Scott? The fact that The Rock never showed up? That's not a John Cena heel turn problem. That's a Dwayne Johnson and Travis Scott problem. That's a booking problem for them trying to come up with some world where it was going to be the new version of the NWO and John Cena was the third man.
Right.
John Cena heel turn was big enough that it didn't need Travis Scott. It didn't need The Rock after Toronto. After that night in Toronto, Travis Scott didn't have to be involved in WrestleMania. Dwayne was never to be seen again.
Nope. We're still looking for him in his Goosebumps.
Yeah. So at this point, it could be bloodline rules all you want. It makes sense for where we're at. I actually love this run. I love it because now, for the next 4 months, we get one final run, one final chance to push the sun back for hustle, loyalty, and respect.
Mhm.
We get to actually go out and cheer John Cena, something that we would have wasted like fake cheers on at WrestleMania and stuff like that.
Right.
Nah, man, I'm good. A+. Was there pieces of it that it didn't make sense? Sure. Was there parts of it that I wish that they'd have done something different? Absolutely. But you told us that these other two guys were going to be involved and then they stopped showing up. So you went with what you had. The only thing I wish that would have happened, and I'm praying to God it happens in France, and I'm praying to God it opens as a face, is I want Logan Paul to come out, and then I want to hear the old fucking theme song, and I want him to come out with an oversized fucking starter jersey on, fucking Word Life, the fucking, give me one final homage to the Chain Gang Soldier, to all the fun stuff that was early John Cena. That's the only thing that this heel turn missed, was him coming out in the middle of New York wearing a David Ortiz jersey, talking shit about fucking the Bronx, or talking shit about Brooklyn, or whatever it was. That's the only thing from this John Cena nostalgia heel run that was missing. The fact of the matter is this: you were going to sell the t-shirts no matter what. You were going to sell the hats no matter what. You were going to sell the armbands. You were going to sell the commemorative titles, whether he was shaking hands and kissing babies or whether he was flipping people off and telling them to go fuck themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Because John Cena is professional wrestling.
Right.
If your Mount Rushmore does not have John Cena on it when it's all said and done, at this point, I don't take your Mount Rushmore serious.
That's fair.
For however many years it was, you got to have Hogan on there. Okay, you got to have Cena on there. Never seen 17. The guy who showed up every fucking night, no matter what, no matter how many fans wanted him to get into a car accident on the way to the next fucking city because they were sick of white meat babyface John Cena. The guy showed up.
Right.
The guy told you, I'm leaving. I'm giving you 14 months to celebrate this. And when I'm gone, I ain't coming back. I'll be an ambassador. I'll do the Make-A-Wish
shorts,
stuff.
the t-shirts, the hats, the armbands. It's gone. It's done. This is it.
You might get some John Cena t-shirts if he comes as an ambassador and makes an appearance at Insert City here.
Sure.
But it'll probably be a whole new design. I would love for his first t-shirt design post-retirement to be a Where's Waldo themed shirt where you're trying to find John Cena on it. Because literally, you can't see him anymore.
Right.
I love it. I think it'd be awesome. But that's my point.
Right.
John Cena had to be a heel to have the matches against Cody Rhodes because you're never turning him heel. And we've said on this show already in the first 44 minutes that sometimes face versus face just doesn't work.
Correct.
So he was going to have the matches against Cody Rhodes. He had the matches against R-Truth, both guys who were predominantly faces. So now you turn him face so he can go over and have a match with Logan Paul and give him some rub on the way out. So he can go over and have a match with the guy that we know is never getting cheered in a building, Brock Lesnar.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's going to have one final match against someone, whether it's Gunther, whether it's somebody else, whether it's Drew McIntyre representing The Rock, whatever it is. He's going to have that final match in December. That's it. I feel like the heel turn had to happen so that the face turn was all that much more. So that this final run, we can all sit back and just enjoy the closing chapter of a relationship of our lives that for a long time, a lot of us took for granted, myself included. And I'm just excited to see what the fuck happens for these last 4 months.
Yeah, because sometimes I think it's like one of those things where it's just like, oh, they're going to be here forever. You know, we forget that even, you know, even our the lifelong wrestlers are only here for a certain amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
No, I like. Here's the thing, like when you start talking about heel turns, oh, so and so's going to turn heel, so and so's going to turn heel, and you think about what a heel looks like and what a heel does and how evil a heel can be. John Cena was never going to be that. Like, he was never, because there is still value in John Cena, the ambassador, John Cena, the Make-A-Wish guy, John Cena, the Hollywood guy. So, like, he's still going to go out and do Hollywood things during this run. So you're not going to make a totally hateable, unlikable person, because we live in a social media world where life exists outside of wrestling. So John still has to be John, both in and out of this gimmick. So just doing this thing of like, look, you all hated me for years. I never changed. You guys wanted me to change. You hated me because I was a good guy. So I'm doing this for me, and I'm going to take this title and I'm going to leave, and I'm going to make you sad. I'm going to make you mad. And you're going to realize one day you're going to wake up and realize what you had.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a tremendous way to approach a heel turn.
Do we remember what he said at MetLife, or not at MetLife, but in New Jersey, right before the match, right before we turned face? I have the exact quote sitting right here. He's standing in the ring and says, I want to leave here with this. And he holds up the title. And he goes, I want to take this home with me. Not because I want to ruin wrestling, but because I want to take this home so after I'm gone, you guys don't forget who I am.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a great way to come home with it.
You had to get somewhere for that line to get delivered to make it actually fucking mean something.
That too. And like, I think about, like, you know, I think a great way to approach it is just kind of, I'm going to be the same John Cena, but I'm going to make you actually hate it. You hated it because it was cool to hate it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to make you hate it. I'm going to make you hate because I'm going to ruin the thing that you love. And now, was it always a home run? No. Maybe sometimes it was that little like bloop fly that just gets over the fucking second baseman's arm. That's not the best hit in the world, but you're getting a guy on. Okay. And sometimes that guy that gets on ends up scoring the winning run.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not always about home runs. It's not always about the best moment ever. Sometimes it's about the whole package. And I think from John telling us he's got 1 year left to, oh, he's just going to win. He's just going to win the Rumble. Then he doesn't win the Rumble. Okay, well, then he wins the Chamber. Okay, so now we're going to get babyface John versus babyface Cody. And then all of a sudden we don't. And again, we talked about WrestleMania. It wasn't a home run. It wasn't a home run by the longest stretch. But we got the 17th world title win. And then you go from there. And then we ended up getting to a point where when they flipped that switch, for whatever reason, maybe it was just a hard abort. Maybe it was just, this is the best. We got 3.5 months left. Let's get the hell out of this. And then they got Brock Lesnar. Like maybe they made the decision to get John out of being a heel before they even knew they had Brock Lesnar. Like we'll trust me, we'll find out on WWE Unreal, season 2. But yeah, I like
Part 2.
But no, I like. Was it the greatest heel turn of all time? No. Was it the greatest heel run of all time? No. But is it as bad as the dorks on the internet want you to believe? No. And then I think it's going to be one of those things that I think history will remember the run better than the current time does. Because I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for what it's worth.
I agree.
So where would you go like letter grade wise?
I'd go B+.
Okay.
And man, I wasn't always the smartest guy in school. When I got a B+, I was damn proud of that B+.
Yeah, no, I appreciate a lot of what Mike was saying. Definitely frames it in a really strong way. And I definitely get what you were saying too, Jim. I think for me, first of all, I can't give enough props, like I was saying before, to Triple H and John Cena and them for actually trying it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, like with anything creative, the only way that we move further along in the stories we tell is if we're not afraid to just go for things sometimes, even when they may not work. Like I've seen movies that I walk out of and I'm like, well, that movie sucked and I hated it, but I'm glad they made it because at least they tried something. Like you have to be trying, especially in a creative environment. So props to them for that, because we really never thought we were going to see this. And this was the last opportunity. The last time is now. And we did get to see it. So props for that. The actual heel turn itself, like we've said, we've talked about that moment before. I think that moment itself goes down as one of the all-time great moments, like up there with the Hogan heel turn, up there with the debut of the Nexus. Like it's one of those moments that will live on forever.
Mm-hmm.
Everything since then, I'm not going to say that I disliked. I've actually been a fan of like a decent amount of it. And if anything, I think there's just like little bits that I didn't like. Like you said, like, unfortunately, it sucks because this isn't John's fault. But yes, I do think there's a strike against it with the fact that it felt like it was going to be a whole thing with The Rock and Travis Scott. And you were going to have this whole little group and nothing. And I'm glad they used that in the end. Like when John turned face, I'm glad they used that as part of it, where he was just like, look, I thought I had this whole team, and then where are they? They're gone. Like, ain't nobody in my corner. Like I'm glad like they at least like still brought that out. But definitely like when the moment felt like we were gonna get this whole little group and it was gonna be kind of this like crazy, NWO style thing, and then that never really amounted to anything. It's hard not to hold that against at least the storyline overall, at least a little bit. So that's like at the very least, that's where like you don't get my A. But I'm definitely like in the B territory myself. Like B plus, I feel like I'm good with, because I did enjoy a lot of the matches. I'm not gonna lie. Like obviously the Cody match at Mania was awful, but I was a fan of the Orton match. I like the stuff he did with Truth. Excuse me. I enjoyed like the tag stuff with Logan Paul. Like, I think there was a decent amount of matches where he came across looking pretty good. I do feel like some of the feuds were repetitive, and that was unfortunate. For a few months there, it felt like at the beginning of every month, you'd get the next person to come out. It's like, like in New Japan, where the end of a title match, the next person that's going to challenge for the title comes out. It felt like that. where it was like Cena would beat Cody at WrestleMania, and then the next night Orton comes out and they feud for a couple of weeks, and Orton lays him out a few times, and then all of a sudden they have their match at their pay-per-view and it's over. And the next night or at the press conference, R-Truth gets involved, or CM Punk is the next one. It's like, and it felt very rinse and repeat, like there'd be promos, Cena would get laid out, rinse and repeat. Cena would eventually get the upper hand. He'd get to cut a great promo, rinse and repeat. So, and who knows? Him now as a face, we might still get the exact same rinse and repeat,
Right.
just with like Brock, doing it to him instead, or whoever else. So like that part, I'm also like, I feel like takes it down a grade at least a little bit for me. I do think it's really cool that they've been running the greatest hits, and some of those greatest hits you were either going to do face versus face, which might not have worked that well, or you were going to have one of the guys be a heel, and it wasn't expected that it'd be Cena. So it's kind of cool that it was Cena, like him versus Orton, like him versus Punk. It gave you an opportunity to run some of those back, which, considering a lot of this Cena run has been kind of a greatest hits, I think was necessary, and I think was kind of awesome in that regard. So like that, those are the aspects that I really like, and I've already said kind of the stuff that I like didn't love. I will say the thing that made me think of this topic from the start was watching Unreal. And I think it was like the second episode or so where they had John Cena like doing all the Make-A-Wishes, which this man, holds the record by leaps and bounds and then some on Make-A-Wishes that he's done. So they're showing this, and he's talking to the fans, and he's signing the autographs, and he's doing the Make-A-Wishes. And as I was watching that, I just remember thinking to myself, there was just no way this guy was ever going to be a heel. Like, this man is just naturally not a heel. And as much as he's an actor, as much as, I've seen him play a bad guy in Fast and Furious 9, he basically just had the sad face on and said his lines kind of the same way he's been cutting promos. It's just like part of wrestling is, and people have said this forever, like the best characters, the ones that work the most, are the ones that are basically a version of the wrestler themselves, just with the volume turned up to 11.
Right.
Good guy John Cena, 5 moves of death John Cena, like hustle, loyalty, respect, all the different colors, going out, signing all the autographs, doing all that, is the real John Cena up on 11. John Cena is a good guy, and you can just tell that. And so I think watching that in that moment, I was just like, I'm honestly shocked that they actually tried to turn him heel, that they actually went ahead and ran it for a few months, because this man does not have a heelish bone in his body. As long as you respect his house rules. Nikki Bella learned that one. But, this man does not have a heelish bone in his body. So
Right.
it was never going to fully work. And like you said, like, I don't know if this was them realizing, hey, like, this isn't working the way we want it to. We've still got like 4 months. Let's get out now and finish this run off right. Or if this was always the plan and they were always going to make sure like the last couple of months were him being a face again. I don't know. But I think it was the right call either way. And like I said, like, I think for the heel run itself, at this point, looking back at it with like not a lot of time between when it ended and now, I think I'm like at a B for that.
So it, to me, and again, this is just speculation on my end, it always felt like John was going to end as a face, because
I will agree with that.
So you had to turn him at some point. Well, guess what? He's got 4 months left, which is 9 dates. And only 5 of them, I believe, are in the continental United States. So if we're getting in the John Cena face run, you had to do it there.
Right.
I think the thought process may have been, hey, let's turn him face and turn Cody heel if we can get Rock and Travis Scott on board. Well, guess what? They never got back on board. So smell you later. So I think reality set in that they were going to have to do this at some point, no matter what. But here's the thing that you think about in John Cena's heel matches: Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, Randy Orton. None of those guys are getting booed.
Mm. Nope.
So is an entire face versus face John Cena retirement tour really going to move us that much? Probably not. For the last 6 months, we've been highly entertained. But what is John Cena going to say in his next promo? Is The Rock going to show up? Is Travis Scott going to show up? Are we going to listen to that horrible ass fucking song again?
Please no.
Well, from the way it looks at it, probably not, unless something happens in December on his way out. But I will say that there is one genuine fatal flaw that I did mention in the heel run. And this is 100% a shot at a certain person. John Cena made one fatal flaw that night when he turned face inside the Prudential Center in beautiful New Jersey. He wore Jets colors. He should have saved the Jets colors for the Sunday night instead of wearing the shitty ass Giants colors. Suck it, Ernest. He wears Cody Rhodes' colors and loses. That's what the Giants do. Lose.
Well,
he should have wore the green. He should have wore the green on Sunday and not the red.
I mean, the nice thing about or the fair and balanced thing is no matter which set of Meadowlands colors you were wearing, you were going to lose anyway. It was a safe bet that Cena was going to lose when we saw that gear come out.
I think I'm more upset that they didn't have him come out wearing Devils colors in the home of the fucking New Jersey Devils.
Yeah, that's fair.
That kind of pisses me off more than the Jets Giants thing. But I know they did that because it was too nice and they were trying to double sell fucking colors. Correct. I get it. Kudos. But if your biggest party of the summer is taking place technically in New Jersey, you probably could have sold Devil stuff all 3 nights at the Superstore too.
Probably could have done that as well. Or they should have just released a special set.
Correct. That's what I'm saying. They might have. I'm just being a smartass. I'm just being a smartass because what I do. But yeah, all in all, I think when you look at the guys that he played the greatest hits against as the heel, he was never. Those other guys were never getting booed.
Right. Yeah.
Height of Power CM Punk not getting booed. Height of Power American Nightmare not getting booed. Randy in this run right now, he's not getting booed. Not till he punts somebody in the head and goes heel.
Oh, I want that so bad.
Looking at you, Jelly Roll.
God, let that happen. Well, no, then you can't get booed if you punt that guy in the head. People will cheer that.
Yeah, probably you're right.
Yeah,
I do think the heel turn is coming.
I think it will at some point, especially if he plans on wrestling even half of the next 5 years that he wants to sign for.
To be fair, you know who I'd have him turn heel against? AJ Styles.
It's a great point. It's a great
Dominic Mysterio and pull the double turn.
Yeah, it's a great point.
All right, so that's the John Cena heel run. It's fun, but we got, I guess it's technically 8 dates left with John.
Jesus, yeah.
Maybe it's still 9. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not the best at math right now. I'm tired. Still trying to see if I can find a way to get to San Diego and be a psychotic human being for one final glimpse of John Cena, but we'll see if I can actually swing that.
Yeah. Well, good luck. Good luck. You are a madman. You've proven that.
Thank you.
You've proven that. All right. Last thing, topic wise, over the last day or so.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I had the same reaction when my brother sent me that meme.
That's a good one.
It's a picture of a certain wrestler whose name can't really be mentioned out loud.
Crispin.
With the caption, "The face you make when your wife and kids say we think we're going to be Mets fans." So, you can piecemeal that together however you'd like.
He was the gentleman who played Vacant in the triple threat match at WrestleMania 20.
Yeah, that one. I'm gonna send that to EJ. Actually, give me this. I got to make sure I send that to Ernest.
Yeah.
There he is.
Especially the fact that they've been playing like absolute dog ass the last.
I know, right? So over the last 24, 36 hours, there has been reports, that's with a Z, from journalists with a double Z, that the WWE is beginning to plan the final show and shows of John Cena's career. And we do know that they're going to come in December. We do know that they're going to come probably in Boston or Massachusetts of some form. And there is a lot of talk about the event happening on December the 27th, Saturday night, December the 27th. We are to believe that the John Cena farewell show is going to be a Saturday night's main event. Well, there's another show occurring on Saturday, December the 27th, and that is AEW World's End 2025 from the Now Arena in Hoffman Estates, Illinois. There is also some discussion that the WWE is going to be running a show on September the 20th, which is also a Saturday. Well, there's another show that is happening on Saturday, the September the 20th, and that is AEW All Out from the Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Now, we are a month away from September the 20th. There has been no formal announcement from the WWE. This is rumored to be in Indianapolis, Indiana, where WWE has, of course, had the Royal Rumble this year. There will be a future WrestleMania there. They've been doing business in Indiana. And because now we do know, we thought when we saw Brock Lesnar return at SummerSlam that we thought, hey, there's your match for Paris. It is John Cena versus Logan Paul at Clash in Paris. So it's like, well, where does Brock Lesnar fit into this? Are we sending old Brock from Canada down to Perth?
Slam Diego.
Are we going to do it at Slam Diego? Well, if you believe the rumor and innuendo, we may be getting that in Indianapolis in 4 weeks.
So we're adding a date. We're adding a date to the John Cena retirement tour. Then
that's the rumor. That's the rumor.
I understand. I'm playing devil's advocate.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Because again, we're running it off a rumor. So let's pretend that Meltzer and Alvarez actually find their ass in the instead of the hole in the ground and get one right here, and that WWE is going to announce the show in Indianapolis on September the 20th, and they run John Cena's farewell the night of World's End. We've seen this a couple times this year already with NXT shows and different things, and kind of and with Saturday night's main event with Goldberg's farewell, same day as All In.
Bill Goldberg.
Bill Goldberg.
Sorry.
So
Bill Goldberg.
Say it to my face, Bill Goldberg.
Bill Goldberg.
Sorry.
Say it to my face, Bill Goldberg.
Like we're told AEW is not competition. You seem to be working very hard to counter program somebody that's not competition. But at what point, because I think we kind of had fun with it a bit as WWE was doing these shows, but at some point, does it become, quote, bad business as opposed to just running shows? Because if you want to add a date in September, I don't think anybody is really faulting you. It's kind of seems a little wild considering the summer that we've had, but okay, be my guest. But doing it a day of a show that's been announced for 9 months, like it doesn't feel coincidental. So does it become bad business? Is it because to me as a fan, I feel like I'd much rather have WWE Indianapolis the next weekend when I could just tune in, because I'm already having to make a choice. What's the college football night game this week? of
Oh,
all
I have
that.
that. I have that up already.
Right, but I mean, like, just even with it, I have to already play that game during football season. Am I watching a wrestling show or am I watching a football game? Or like, which one's getting the big TV? Which one's getting the little TV? Right?
Let's be transparent. As long as the game starts after 7 o'clock, you'll be fine. That week is Purdue at Notre Dame at 3:30.
Okay, we're good then. But like, you know what I mean?
There are some to be determined games that could be very interesting for seasons discussions.
Yeah, it's just it like, you know, I said on shows last week, we were talking about the Brock Lesnar thing. Like, I'm getting tired of having to make like a moral decision around a company, but in the same time, like there's a little bit of exhaustion with having to make a choice of which brand's show am I watching today, because I know me, and if I miss one, I'm not going to go back and watch it.
Correct.
Like, I watched, we all split all in. We watched the last 3 matches live. I have not watched a single match from the rest of that. Night 1 of SummerSlam, I saw the second half of the Orton Roll match and the main event of night 1. I have not gone back and watched a single thing else from the rest of night 1. I know me. If you give me 2 shows, I will watch one of them at most. To me, that, like, you're starting to toe the line into bad business. Now WWE is going to make their money. TKO is going to make their money. So to them, it ain't bad business. But from a fan standpoint, when you're already starting to make questionable decisions along the way, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't know where you guys are at.
Well, I guess we'll start one at a time here. I don't think the John Cena retirement tour is going to go up against World's End. Let's peel the layer back there.
Yeah, that would be a bold and probably bad choice.
There's going to be perennial playoff football games on that weekend because that is the second to last week of the regular season. You already have 3 games on Christmas and you have some games set on Sunday, game on Monday, but then you have some matchups that will be being played probably on Saturday, including my Cincinnati Bengals against the Arizona Cardinals, the Ravens against the Packers, Giants versus the Raiders, Houston versus the Rams, Houston versus the Chargers, Carolina, Seattle. Those could all have playoff implications. And if you're a fan base that roots for any of those teams, sorry, John Cena, sorry, World's End, probably watching my team play football. So then you start playing the role of, well, let's look at the weekend in September. A fairly big college football game, Florida at Miami. Time to be determined. Probably the night game, if I had to be honest with you.
Probably.
A big one, if you're going to add a date to the John Cena retirement tour in beautiful Indianapolis, Indiana. Number 12, Illinois, at number 20, Indiana, in Bloomington. If you're a fucking Hoosier fan, you're probably going to be there.
Right.
I'm not even talking about going against another team that you're another company that is coming for you or you're coming for them or this, that, or the other. I'm talking about going up against the product that no matter what you schedule, you're going to fucking lose. Which is football. And guess what? Now you're going to start adding stuff last minute and changing dates last minute. People have already bought tickets to those games. People have already bought hotel rooms. People have already decided that they're going to go to those things. This is stuff that you do months in advance. Right. I don't think it's smart business. You'll get your wrestling fans that only like wrestling and don't watch football and this, that, or the other, and you don't care about ratings, and you don't care about this or that. But the problem is now you're competing against somebody to be the second or third most watched thing that night. Why? And I understand football Sundays, football Saturdays in the across the United States, it's going to be hard to pop ratings. It's going to be hard to get ratings. So why make it harder on yourself and pull the people that are not only on the WWE side or only on the AEW side? Why are you going to pull the people who are 50-50 people? Myself, Jim, the guys, most of the guys over on 3CT, Joe, if he's off of work, people that I know that are like, if I have to pick, like, am I paying $50 or am I watching something free on the cock?
Right.
Like, you're doing exactly what WCW did to you with Starrcade or vice versa. What you did with Survivor Series, giving it away for free 30 years later.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is doing it for free now, you're still not guaranteed to be the number one. Because you got to go up against too much other shit.
Right.
Oh, by the way, what else is going to be that weekend? I don't know. The final week of the regular season of Major League Baseball. Teams playing for playoff spots.
Right.
Maybe we stay the fuck away from September.
Yeah.
Just a thought. Now, December, they always do the MSG house show the day after Christmas. You're talking about the very next day being the John Cena retirement tour final stop, Boston. Personally, I don't think that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think you let John retire in the middle of December. I think you let him be done before Christmas. I think you get everybody their John Cena memorabilia for Christmas, and I think everybody lives happily ever after.
Yeah.
Now, what I will say on to the generalized topic of, is it bad for business? My answer to that, aside from these two, I'm going to say no. But I'm going to say no for a very specific reason. Because what makes people bring out the best in themselves? Competition. We're not getting a complacent AEW show that they're just going to do because people are going to pay $50 for a pay-per-view.
Okay.
You're going to get your John Moxley versus Hangman Page. You're going to get your Tony Storm versus Mercedes Moné. You're going to get your Will Ospreays and Swerve Stricklands having marquee matches. You're getting your AEW guys that you want to see on every pay-per-view, on every show. You're getting the best of those guys in ring because they don't have to phone it in because there's competition. I've watched enough AEW. I've seen enough of their shows when they're not going up against WWE. Exploding Wing barbed wire match that looked like Gilbert's entrances from Sunday Night Heat. That match before it wasn't any good.
Mm.
But hey, we start putting random WWE shows like Goldberg's Retirement or Saturday Night Main Event, including Logan Paul or concert performance from someone that you know is going to end up getting involved in something in some way, shape, or form.
Bill Goldberg.
Yeah, say it to my face. So
Say it to my face.
So when you look at it from that perspective, I want the best out of AEW. I want it to succeed. But sometimes I feel like Tony Khan almost needs that push off the fucking edge of like, hey, you got one or two good matches, but is that really worth a $50 card to someone who's got to make a decision between wrestling or maybe going to his friend's house to watch football and have beers and eat pizza and save that $50 for something that he might want to spend it on somewhere down the road or XYZ. I don't love it. Let me say that. But I'm not going to sit here and be critical of it because I think at this point, sometimes until AEW gets its footing and for all case and purposes can punch TKO right back in the mouth, I think you almost have to just look at it and go, it sucks, but I'm going to pick whichever show I think is the more entertaining show.
Right.
If you're telling me that, okay, I have two TVs and it's like, what are your choices? John Cena having a match against Brock Lesnar or Swerve Strickland versus Will Ospreay versus Hangman Page versus John Moxley in a fatal four-way. Well, if they're gonna go head to head against each other, maybe I got to make a decision then. But here's the other thing you guys got to remember at home. AEW will also tend to move shows up. Looking at you, y'all in. And then AEW decided to do something like draw that show out for 17 hours to purposely go up against the Bill Goldberg retirement match. You mean to tell me if they have World's End from Chicago and WWE announces next week that the final match of John Cena's career will take place December 27th, TD Bank North Garden, Saturday night's main event starting at 8 o'clock on Peacock. You don't think that they're not going to look up and go, well, I think maybe we should move World's End up to 2 o'clock?
Right.
Because you're not beating John Cena. I think Tony Khan is smart enough to know that. And I don't think Tony Khan would draw out a 17-hour World's End show to do it. Now, All In is their biggest show of the year. It's their WrestleMania. If there was a night that I would have thought that WWE was in the wrong, it was that night. Because you didn't have to do the Bill Goldberg retirement that night. You didn't have to do Evolution the next night. You could have saved it for the following week and done the exact same thing,
Sure.
and you'd have been the cream of the crop. You wouldn't have had to worry about that shit, and you could have just had your victory, let them have their moment. And I would have been like, you know what? Respect to both of them. But you threw together a Bill Goldberg retirement match to try to go up against fucking All In for what reason?
Say it to my face,
Because Tony Khan did exactly what you thought he would do, which is
Bill
fold and move his show up to 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, if I'm upset with anybody in this whole dynamic, it's Tony Khan. Lock your feet in the fucking ground. You want to do All In? Do All In. Start it at 4 o'clock. Go right up against it. Punch TKO right back in the mouth. Hey, stop fucking with us.
Yeah.
Until you stand up to the bully, guess what? The bully's going to keep doing the same thing that it always does. Sometimes you may lose the fight, but at the end of it, if you go down swinging, the bully's going to look at you and probably like, all right, I fucked with him enough. Time for me to move on. But until Tony Khan has that moment, he's letting them pick on him, basically.
Right.
I don't have to like it. I don't have to love it. But until Tony does something about it, I can't step in and be like, hey, by the way, this is fucked up. If I was WWE, no, I wouldn't be doing it. I'd be focused on my own product with my own guys, trying to get my own guys over, trying to get as many people in front of them as I can. And potentially going up against another show, another company's pay-per-view, and its biggest show of the year, I think is a detriment. But until something changes, until Tony stands up for himself, I don't think it changes. As unfortunate as that sounds, I just don't think it does.
That's fair. Joe?
I guess my whole confusion more than anything else is I don't get why WWE is doing it. Like, there's not, no offense to AEW, there's not a real competition here. They both exist in the pro wrestling world, but WWE as a company is just so many leaps and bounds higher in the business that they're doing. Because, I mean, they've been around for so much longer, and they're literally just like, they've got their hands in so many different things and have their talents involved in so many different things. You know, there's no backstage AEW show on Netflix. I think there was at some point on Max, but like that obviously didn't last very long. Like WWE is just, it's its own thing to the point where like look, there are other football leagues that exist. None of them are competing with the NFL.
Right.
So, what purpose would it serve for the NFL to suddenly decide that they're going to move the Super Bowl to the same day as the championship game for the XFL or the UFL, whatever the fuck it's called nowadays?
Right, or the CFL, the Canadian Football League.
Right. Like they're not competition. It's one thing if the smaller fish in the pond is saying, hey, we're going to put our show on when you have your show on because we want to try to compete with you. That's one thing. It's a dumb decision, but it's at least like you're taking your shot up. Doesn't make sense to be shooting down. And that's the part that confuses me because like WWE's already won this just by existing, just by selling tickets, just by selling merchandise, like the TV deals that they get and all that kind of stuff. Like they've already won whatever battle they seem to think they're in with AEW. There's no competition. Now, on top of that too, like this isn't them versus WCW. This isn't them trying to like run another company out of business or, fight for survival or anything like that. I mean, at the end of the day, I think WWE by now should realize that AEW being around and being a place where some guys can go and girls can go and really hone their talents and become stars. I mean, literally, Cody Rhodes isn't the star that he is without AEW being a thing.
Yeah.
You could say that about a lot of guys that have come either back into the company or first time in the company. Jade Cargill is a good example. Like there's a decent amount of people, and that's to say that like there will be more. And that only happens if there's an AEW for them to go and grow in, So like it doesn't make sense for WWE from any perspective to be trying to run AEW out of business or get them to like not have fans or not have ticket sales or views or anything like that. So I just don't get the motivation. Like that's my whole thing. Like I just 100%, I don't get what they are trying to prove WWE when they make these decisions and when they set these dates and like it's weird. Like it's just a weird, it's almost a move that I expected more from when Vince was there. I don't get it from billion-dollar company TKO making these decisions, or maybe it's Nick Khan making these decisions and he's just like, fuck you, Tony, I'm the better Khan. I don't know. But it like there's an odd motivation there that I doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I think that's a great like way to look at it is, every event you tell us that well now you don't do it in a press conference, you do it on a post show, but you tell us that it's the most profitable SummerSlam of all time and it's this month was the most people that watched this and the biggest money to ever do that and the biggest gate we've ever taken in on Portland, Oregon on a Monday Night Raw. So like why does it matter that AEW is running a pay-per-view in Toronto on September 20th? Why does it matter that they're running the Hoffman Estates Arena in Chicago, Illinois for the 87 billionth time in 6 years in December? Like you shouldn't care about what they're doing and when they're doing it. And if anything over the last couple of years, like AEW hitting the ground running and doing a full big arenas at the jump, and then Vince having to take a not so ceremonious exit from the WWE, and WWE kind of having this opportunity to get some like fresh flavor in the booking room and compete against a company that was making a lot of noise. It made them, the competition made them better, just as it did when WCW got hot. And for 20 years, like, yeah, it was cool I'm sure it was cool for them being the only show in town for the longest time. But right now you're not the only show in town and you're still making $1 bajillion every year. Like, again, we talked about it last week. You just made $1.6 billion from ESPN on a pay-per-view deal in a time when media rights are falling apart. Like
Your parent company also just made $6 billion from Paramount Plus.
right. And ESPN is already actively considering getting in the business when the Peacock deal comes up for the library.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think a company that's already invested $1.6 billion in you is going to offer you $16 for the library? So what does it matter? It just and here's the thing is the WWE running a couple of pay-per-views to run over AEW pay-per-views going to make a large portion of the WWE audience tune out? No. The WWE audience is tuning in when the WWE's on. What it is going to continue, I think, to hurt and to fracture are the people that are becoming a little disenfranchised because you brought back Brock Lesnar, because your chief content officer is doing White House appearances, is because in a time when everybody's struggling financially, you're coming out and telling us how much money you're making off of us every week. WrestleMania tickets are $700 for nosebleeds. Like all of these little things are going to start adding up. Because it's never going to be one big thing with the WWE. And I'm not saying the WWE is in peril or the black clouds on the horizon. No. But you're going to start disenfranchising the fans that you've earned back in the last 5 years. And that's going to be the concern, because you're not going to, it's those little things will eventually become a big thing, and it'll just be the reason why. And then you're going to have to work twice as hard to get those people back again. When some of these things you didn't have to do. Like the pay-per-view stuff, that you didn't have to do. The White House appearances, maybe you probably had to do. Sadly, unfortunately. The Brock Lesnar thing, you didn't have to do that. That's one you didn't have to do. Now, do I think part of the John Cena story, having Brock Lesnar involved, is a big deal from a story standpoint? Absolutely. I'm not going to deny that. But it's also not the best PR. You could have avoided that. You know what I mean? So it's,
you could have, but you chose to give John what he wanted.
And again, whether we find this out on Unreal or something to wrestle with Bruce Pritchard in the next 15 years, Triple H says John wanted him. John says they set him up, I knock him down.
John Cena staying in character, saying he's going to fight anybody on the John Cena retirement tour.
Sure. And again, somewhere in the middle, there's the truth.
Especially whenever we have had the conversation offline that when you think about John Cena opponents, the first one that pops in your head most of the time is Brock Lesnar.
Sure. And I mean, here's the thing. It could have also been, Bookers and John and everybody kind of shooting the shit. And it's well, what if we can get Brock? Oh yeah, absolutely get Brock.
Correct.
Do I think do I think that John Cena was you guys have to give me Brock Lesnar?
No,
I don't know that he does that. But if WWE legal and the powers that be go, hey, I think we might be able to clear him and get him into the mix here. And John goes, well, if you can get him and clear him, absolutely bring him the fuck in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think maybe at the beginning of the year they were like, John, who do you want to fight? Well, obviously I want Cody. Obviously I want Randy. Obviously I want Phil. Hey, I know he's not in a great spot right now, but if things shake out the right way at the back end of the year, if we can maybe get him, if not, we can pivot to someone else just so I can play my greatest hits with him. Well, John, that doesn't really make a lot of sense right now. Yeah, you're probably right. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I don't think John Cena walked into headquarters with a fucking pistol and held Triple H's head and said, "Give me Brock or give me death."
Right.
I don't think I'm going that far. I think if you hand John Cena a blank piece of paper and you're like, "Hey man, what do you think about this, this, and this?" Well, can we get this guy maybe? Oh, we could. All right, I'm cool with it. Let's run back the hits.
Right. Yeah. All right. I think I'm good with that topic.
Joe, are you good before I continue?
Yeah.
We have some matches that have been formally announced for Forbidden Door, Backdoor Dangerous tonight. As previously announced on Dynamite, you do have the AEW Women's Championship match: Toni Storm versus Athena, the Fatal 4-Way of Mercedes Moné, Alex Windsor, a CML competitor and a Stardom competitor, for the women's TBS title. You've also, it's been announced that Okada and Swerve are going to fight for that unified title. But tonight there were a couple more matches added, including the AEW World Title match. MJF was goaded into cashing in his title match. He will take on the Hangman Adam Page. We have a lights out steel cage match that features Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, Gabe Kidd coming back from injury, and the Young Bucks taking on the team of Darby Allin, William Cran Ocean Spray, in potentially his final match in All Elite Wrestling, the ace of New Japan Pro Wrestling, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and the returning Golden Lovers of Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi.
Okay.
And then we have, obviously, the Hurt Syndicate will defend the tag titles against either Brodito or FTR. Kyle Fletcher will defend the TNT title against Hiromu Takahashi of Los Increíbles de Japón. And last but certainly not least, for the first time since 2011, Adam Copeland, Christian Cage will team up to take on the patriarchy of Nick Wayne and Kip Sabian. If you don't tell me that FTR is beating the Hurt Syndicate and we're getting FTR versus Edge and Christian at All in Toronto, you're an idiot.
Oh yeah. That one's easy. That one's easy.
Sorry, Bobby. Sorry,
Yeah.
Shelton.
Yeah,
Y'all
Bobby,
are losing.
you out. Yeah, you out, Bobby. Sorry. You out, bud.
Yeah.
You
so
are out.
just some fun things that got announced on tonight's show while we were recording that I thought it'd be cool to talk that we're getting Edge and Christian. We're getting another.
If you want to smile but also feel old as shit, watch the segment where Cope and Christian reunited.
Mm-hmm.
Because you will both smile and feel old as shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My back randomly hurt halfway through.
Dude, just seeing these two old gray dudes just hug each other is just like, oh boy. Oh no.
I'm in my feelings, but I also want to tell this guy to go fuck himself.
I'm like looking, there's so many gray hairs.
Hold on, I gotta pull this one out of my.
Yeah, just let me pluck these motherfuckers. God damn it. I found a great chest hair the other day, and I wasn't prepared for that one. Yeah.
Talking about chest hair, Joe would probably be the guy you need to speak to about that.
Oh, he's got good chest hair.
I got quite a few gray ones too on there.
Yeah, I just wasn't ready.
I noticed them lately.
I knew it was going to happen. I just wasn't ready for it. It just
the weirdest part is by the time you notice it, it's so fucking long. You're just like, how did I not notice this? Like growing.
Right. It's like 3-inch longer. I'm like, what the? How did you?
Like literally.
Like did one of my dark hairs did it get scared and scared the color out of the hair? Whatever. I'm old. It doesn't matter. Wrestlers of the week.
Yeah, let's do it. Joe, you got any?
I'm sure I could paste some together.
Duct tape and
All
gum.
I watched nothing wrestling wise this week, so
And honestly though, me and Jim were talking before we went live. Really slow week for professional wrestling.
Yeah.
Okay.
This weekend, I mean, real quick, rapid fire. I'm gonna rapid fire these so that we can, because Triple Mania is this weekend, as is the TNA show. So let's do wrestlers of the week, and then I'm gonna rapid fire those, and we can give predictions on the way out.
Okay.
Joe, do you have anyone to start, or do you want me or Jim to start?
You guys can start.
Jim, I'll give you the floor, bud.
Becky Lynch retained the IC title on Raw.
Shout out Maxine Dupree, first ever title match for her.
Yeah.
I like to give shout outs to people. All
Yeah,
right.
decent showing too. Decent showing.
Correct. I mean, it was a good match. It was what it needed to be for them coming out of the whole Lyra Valkyria feud. I am going to go. I will also probably, you know what? Man, it was a good match. The finish was a little wonky, but all in all, I think this is the reason why I put her in my title match if Naomi does have to vacate. Give me Roxanne Perez defeating Io Sky in a good 15-minute TV match. Joseph?
Who won the main event on something?
Phil from Chicago and LA Knight defeated the Vision via disqualification to win the main event on Raw.
Hell yeah, that sounds like list worthy.
There you go.
Great. Awesome. Love that. Jim?
I'll go the team we just talked about, Cope and Christian back together.
All right, so Cope and Christian back together. As I'm typing this out, I will go. Ooh, there ain't, like I said, there ain't a lot on this this week that was professional wrestling. Let me see if there's something I can randomly find real quick that I think would be of notion. Nominations. I'm gonna go to AEW Collision. I will go to the title match between the man who retained his TNT title, Kyle Fletcher, and Tomohiro Ishii. So give me Kyle Fletcher.
Guys, we got another one. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
4 letters. 1
Word.
True. It's damn true.
God, they just keep coming. They just keep coming.
Pretty good. I love them.
Still here for it too.
Joe, your final wrestler of the week?
I heard that he's getting a title shot at the Forbidden Door, so give me MJF.
There you go.
Maxwell Jacob Friedman. Getting a title shot. All right. So real quick on the way out, TNA has their Emergence pay-per-view tomorrow. Sorry, not tomorrow. I'm used to the show being on Thursday. Friday, an online stream from beautiful Baltimore, Maryland, over on the TNA Plus app. They probably have a deal going where you can get that for probably free or next to nothing. Real quick, again, we're just going to rapid fire these. TNA International title, no disqualification, no count out match. The champion Steve Macklin versus Jake something. Jim?
Macklin.
Joseph?
Something.
I will also take Steve Macklin. Singles match, Sami Callihan versus Mike Santana. Sami Callihan has said on the Twitter machine that if he loses, he'll leave his boots in the ring, but I think that that's bullshit. Jim?
Oh, God. Santana do the Lord's work.
Joseph?
Yeah, give me Mike Santana.
I think he's the one who's eventually going to take the title off of Trick Williams. He can't be losing on another show. Give me Mike Santana as well. Singles match, the hometown man, which I believe is Cody Deaner under a mask after he was, quote, fired, taking on Nick's little brother, Ryan Nemeth.
Oh, holy hell. I refuse to pick the Nemeths. Give me the hometown man.
Joseph?
I'll do it. I'll pick the Nemeth.
I'm taking HTM because it's almost Honky Tonk Man. TNA Knockouts World Tag Title Fatal 4-Way, the Elegance brand, which was, it is Heather by Elegance and M by Elegance, who is stepping in for the aforementioned Ash by Elegance, a.k.a. Dana Brooke, who was the tag champion. She actually is at wrestling in the NXT Heatwave triple threat for the TNA women's title. So they're going to be defending the title for the brand. They're taking on the team of Li Ying Lee and Zaya Brookside, the inspiration of Cassie Lee and Jessie McKay, and NXT's fatal influence of Fallon Henley and Jasmine Nix.
Let's go with the inspiration.
Joseph?
Sure, I like that one.
I will also take the I inspiration. World Tag Title match: the Hardys, Matt and Jeff, take on the Rascals, Myron Reed and Zachary Wentz.
We're getting TLC 6 or whatever in October. This is easily the Hardys. Bet your house on it.
I'm all in.
Yeah, I'd agree with that assessment.
Same. X Division title match: the youngest X Division champion in TNA history, Leon Slater, defends against former WWE superstar Cedric Alexander.
Yo, they rolled Uncle Allen out to a TNA show last month for this guy winning. Leon ain't losing this thing already.
Nah, give me Cedric.
Oh, spicy.
I will take Leon Slater to retain as well. And last but certainly not least, your TNA World Title match. It is the champion Trick Williams taking on former X Division champion and TNA superstar Moose.
Oh God. Like at some point Trick has to lose this, but not Moose. No. Trick whoop
He
that
loses
Trick.
it. He loses it to Mike Santana at Bound for Glory.
Yeah, whoop that Trick.
Whoop that Trick.
Yeah, there's no way I'm picking Moose in this one.
Trust me, I'm not either. And finally, we will go to Triple Mania from the Arena Mexico in Mexico City, Mexico. 5 matches streamed on YouTube.com, the WWE's YouTube, on the 16th. Well, first up, we'll start with the AAA Reina de Reinas Championship, the women's title. It is Flammer, the champion, taking on Fabi Apache and Natalia.
She's not gonna win, but I'm picking Natalia.
Joseph?
Give me the one with the mask.
I think they both wear masks.
I think he's gonna run this gimmick the whole way through this
God.
card.
Give me the first one you said.
All right, he's taking Flammer. I'm going to take Fabi Apache. 6-person, it says man, but person tag match because cage match is terrible. Lola Vice currently just got re-signed to a nice extension with the WWE. She will team with Mr. Iguana and Nino Hamburguesia
Yep.
to take on the Judgment Day of Raquel Rodriguez, Finn Balor, and JD McDonough.
Give me Team Iguana.
Joseph.
This feels like an easy one for the Gringos to win, so give me the Judgment Day.
I will take Lola Vice every time.
Respectfully.
AAA World Tag Title match: the champions Los Garza, Angel, and Berto, probably with Santos Escobar in their corner, taking on Psycho Clown and Pagano.
Garza's retained.
No, let's go Psycho Clown.
I will also take Pagano Clown to win the tag titles here.
By the way, my wife was so confused when they showed Psycho Clown and Mr. Iguana on fucking them on what SmackDown or Raw. She's like, what is happening? I go, oh, it's a Mexican like AAA because they have a show this upcoming week. She's like, does he have like a little lizard? I'm like, yeah, it's Mr. Iguana. I totally just sold it as if like you should know who this is.
Yeah, it's Mr. Iguana.
It's Mr. Iguana, of course. This is Iguana. How do you not know this?
Jesus, honey.
Come on now.
In the co-main event of the evening, I say this as best as I can. The man who thankfully ran Alberto El Patron out of AAA, the AAA Latin American champion El Macias, will take on El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. for the Latin American title.
Macias retains.
I'll go with Dr. Wagner's offspring for no good reason.
Thank you to Macias for ridding us of Alberto El Patron. Your reward is losing to El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr. And last but certainly not least, the whole reason why we're here, the AAA mega title fatal four-way, the champion El Hijo del Vikingo versus Dragon Lee versus Dominic Mysterio versus one version of El Grande Americano.
There's no reason why this should be a debate, because by all sense and logic, this should be Dominic Mysterio, right? Like this, by all sense and logic, this should be Dominic Mysterio, which is why I'm picking El Grande Americano.
Yes, yes, let's go.
Yeah, I'll take Dom. I'll take Dom.
Grande. I'm taking El Grande Americano because I think that'd be the funniest fucking storyline of all time. Chad Cable comes back and he goes, "But I was him. So does that mean that I'm the champion?" Or you get all the different entities defending the title.
Love it. I love
awesome.
it so much.
I think it'd be so great. I do think Dominic Mysterio should win this match.
Good.
I could see him beating El Grande Americano
Yeah.
at some point for it. And then maybe him and his dad have a final match where Ray might win the AAA title. That'd be kind of cool. But yeah,
that would be cool.
Joe, you got anything before you go?
No, all good.
Jim?
Yeah, you can get me at Big Jim Sports on Twitter and Blue Sky. 3CT.
Bye, Joe.
We'll be back. Bye, Joe. We'll be back in live tomorrow night on Thursday, 8 p.m. on our YouTube and Facebook and Twitch pages. So check that out. I'm going to have some fun little topics on that one. We have our Tuesday podcast. I'll be off there next week because I'm on vacation from that show as well. Huddle Up Podcast. We had a new episode drop this week. We have our last of our off-season shows dropping next week on Tuesday under the YouTube and podcast feeds. And then a week and a half from now, basically, we are back. We are live for the whole upcoming season. So we are locked and loaded, ready to go there. So yeah, just hit me on the link tree there, and that's all my projects.
You can follow the show at Take the Number 3 Wrestling. You can follow me at They Call Me Burn. I've got nothing else to plug. Check me out next week. Probably a solo dolo episode where I will preview Forbidden Door while Jim is on lovely vacation. Until then, for Jim and Joe, I am Mike. We will see you next time on the Take 3 Wrestling Podcast.